So I thought I'd make a little tour of my flower beds around my house. This is the back side. Maybe I'll get around there later. There are these couple of bushes that were there, and I trimmed them back, but they're bushes. There's a couple more along here of different kinds. Here we have this. It's a tree. I had a forestry friend who came over, said it's something of the olive genus, and it doesn't produce any olives or anything like that, but that's what it is. Just as an overview, you kind of have all this space here, and most of it is covered in mulch. That turns into something. This greenery that's showing up down here is all kind of weeds that are coming in that I haven't dealt with yet. There's a couple hostas that show up in here. Yeah, there we go, that. They're here, but for the most part, this was all like overgrown because I did nothing with it for the first 2 years, and it got horribly overgrown, and literally there was a thistle that was taller than I was, and then I spent a week tearing everything out and then laying down landscape cloth and putting a couple inches of mulch over it, and every couple of years I refresh the mulch. Here you can see, hopefully, let's get that there, and yeah, there it is. Okay. There's grape hyacinth along here, which is nice. This is all done by the previous homeowner because landscaping was their passion. So it's like, okay, there's a couple bushes here, but again, it's like I can't tell what belongs here and what doesn't. Here's like a couple more smaller bushes. They are coming in. Maybe later in the year I'll get photos of them. This is 2 large burning bushes, which the leaves turn nice and red in the fall. They fill in pretty nicely. I trimmed them back a little bit because they were getting taller than the windows there, so that had to get trimmed back. There's a couple of these bushes here. I don't know if you can really see the leaves nicely there or not. As I recall, these get like, yeah, small red berries on them. There's still some left over from last year, and I think small white flowers, but I'm not positive. There's one there that died, pretty much because this is my front door, and there's a leak over here, so I get a puddle of ice there, which I have to dump lots of salt on to kill. Hi there.
Hi.
And here we've got more grape hyacinth coming in. There's a couple bushes in here. We have this large conifer bush that pretty much I trimmed it back a bit. It needs work now, but I trimmed it back a whole lot like a year and a half ago or 2.5 years ago, because I remember I did it in the fall when I did my fall cleanup of the yard, and then I was like all freaking anxiety over it because did I kill it, you know, for the winter. Yeah, there's grape hyacinth along here. And there's some grass intrusion here as well. But then we got daffodils, and that might turn into a tulip, I'm not sure. There's like tulips coming up. Here are these. This is the south side of the house. There was this thing going on back in like the 70s and 80s where the idea was you'd plant lots of hostile bushes alongside your house under your windows to prevent intruders from using them as access points to get in through your windows. So we've got like, this has thorns on it, this has thorns on it, this has thorns on it, this has thorns on it. That's stuck, unfortunately. This is like this some, oh, here, let's get rid of the shadow, sorry. This is some ground cover, which is like really prevalent in the back, but I'll get to that later. But yeah, thorns, tulips, which don't seem to be doing too well. I think the snow might have gotten to them. Yeah, there's a tree that I keep trying to kill. There's something tall growing back there. I got window wells that I've got covered. I didn't really get gung-ho over here, but whenever I had leftover mulch from up front or over on the side, I dumped it over here. And it's kind of one of those things that, yeah, I should probably get that dealt with. Yeah, more thistles. Oh yes, lots of daffodils. More thorn bush. Yeah, that's a bush with thorns. It's not thistles. Pretty much this area here all got dug up when they had to put this in to fix the sewer. So that's not really good soil on top. It's clay. And I've always been kind of like, well, you know, what's the point of having, you know, a bush with thorns on it right in front of your gas meter and your electric access and all that, you know, so, yeah. Here we have one of the rose bushes, and you can see here, hopefully, if I can, yeah, there we go. I've got, you know, some growth coming in on that. Oh look, it's another bush that has thorns on it. Along here, mind the shadows, Dave, is these plants, I think they get little white flowers on them pretty late in the year. They don't look like weeds to me, so I haven't tried to kill them. There's another rose bush hiding back here. It does okay. I get a couple flowers out of it every year. I don't know, can I actually see where my, oh, there it is, okay. Here, you've got the stumps from these three coniferous trees that were here that basically my forestry friend said, yeah, you're gonna have to eventually get rid of them before they destroy your foundation. So I did. And I haven't quite cleaned up the stumps fully yet. Pretty much I haven't tried to do much with this hunk of land because I didn't want anything growing there, and I figured that, you know, those the conifer droppings like screwed it up enough as it is. So I generally don't kill weeds that grow there because they're rehabbing the soil. This over here is this thing that I post photos of on Facebook, and Facebook tells me, no, don't kill that. Or, as one person put it, if you're gonna kill that, can I come dig it out? So, it's still there. Now we're gonna go around to the east side. Here's this bush, okay, which normally grows up a whole lot closer to the top of the garage, okay? I've been cutting it back over the last few years, for two reasons. Number one, it's blocking some of the light to the rose bushes, and I like the rose bushes, so I don't care about this bush. And secondly, because I have to get my garage resided, so I'm trying to like have stuff not be right next to the garage. So, okay, here we've got a nice, these are the two really tall rose bushes that will grow up to the garage, and then literally this one on the left will grow up and then like the full length of this little trellis thing that I built. Here's an old hosta that just keeps growing and growing. It's really hard to see, but there's a rose bush. There's a rose bush. This area over here gets overrun by lilies of the valley. Okay? Like literally, oh yeah, my property line stops pretty much at the edge of the flower beds. You can turning slowly because I've learned not to whip the camera around. You can see there's a property marker there. but it's sort of like, okay, there's this dead grass, and it's not my grass. But there's another rose bush here. I usually knock back the lilies that are around it because they're blocking the sun, and once again, I value the rose bushes. Here we've got some tulips. This is this ground cover that they put all over back here. Yeah, there used to be a tree there. We'll get into that. So here's these ground cover plants. Yeah, little white flowers, kind of early, but they pretty much stay green all year long. Okay, they're all over the place. My neighbor actually asked to come over and dig a couple of them out because he wants them by his house, and they're real expensive. So if that's a clue to what they are, cool. There's this back section. I think they were about to put in a plastic boundary here because it was sort of dug out when I bought the house, but it's filled in over the years. I still have the plastic liner, but this is like the land of tulips. There's a little bit of daffodils in there. Mostly it's tulips. That was where the last of the tree of heaven that I had to kill. Okay, because now we're gonna whip the camera around. Okay, that garage was not there. My neighbor didn't have a garage when I bought the house, because originally the owners of my property also owned his property, and they were using it all as a backyard, and then they built a house on it. But like, this was sort of part of their garden area, because this is my backyard. There's about 3 foot between the two flower beds there. This is it. Okay, so that wasn't there, and they kind of had like some bushes and a nice little square laid out and a tree of heaven right in the middle of the frickin' thing, and it grew like nuts and spread stuff everywhere, and it took me about 3 years to finally kill it all, except for one tree that was on the other side of the property line, so I couldn't touch it until one of those tree limbs fell and took out half of it, and oh well, my goodness, it got cleaned out. Yeah, there's flowers down here, but they're overwhelmed by the bushes that pop up. Okay, so for most of the year you can't see them, and to be honest, I've been throwing some clippings in there. You know, it ain't great. I don't know what to do with it or do about it, because I'm not sure what needs to die and what needs to stay. Okay, this little space between the house and the garage, oh gee, that wonderful, that mixed lighting is just destroying everything, all the view here. So I'm going to try to put the camera here in the shade and hope that it will, this is all like more of this little ground cover plant. I mean, it just grows up about 8 inches and tops out. Anything tall over here needs to die. Okay, that vine shouldn't be there. I've missed a couple of these things. Don't know what this is. This area over here, where the daffodils start, that's all ferns, and that just becomes this ferny rainforest area. Oh yeah, so I cut down that tree because I couldn't get grass to stay back here, and you can see that I'm gonna have to do some more work this year. But pretty much I was like, I'd rather have grass back here than a tree, and the tree wasn't doing very good anyway, so I just got rid of it. Okay, same, one of those storms took off one of these tree limbs. This tree limb, yeah, who cares about tree limbs? Sorry. Here's more of this ground cover in the backyard, and they put in some nice little, you know, stone path that, oops, crosses the property line, but nobody complains about that because it's a rental next door. This Groot-like tree basically is in front, you know, blocks the view into the bathroom. And yeah, you can kind of see there's like no grass back here anymore. It's all just been shaded all to death. And I circle around here, and here we are back where we started. Okay, I got these bushes that I knocked back, and I tried getting some grass in here for a while. There's vines that grow up there along the house and then start messing up the electrical lines, and every couple of years I go after them, and I can't quite wipe them out. But this thing, this Groot tree, will grow up like over the top of the neighbor's house and bang on the neighbor's house. And it's not like it's dangerous, but I feel that it's an intrusion on their property. I've since figured out that it's a rental property, but I still feel that it's rude, so I trim it back every once in a while, which way you can see, oh look, everything's been whacked off at about the height that I can reach with the cutter without getting the ladder out. Yeah, this thing here, this is just where I pile up a lot of my bush clippings, and I used to take them down to the dumpsters, but they don't put the dumpsters out anymore. So anyway, this is the flower beds around my house. I don't remember if I mentioned it or not, but yeah, I throw like mulch along here to try to control the weeds. Mostly it works. I need to refresh it again this year, except guess what? You can't go buy mulch. So, who knows what we're gonna do. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.